Welcome all to Flux Motorsport Season 1. We've had an amazing first week, and we're now bringing you qualifying from Daytona International Speedway. So we've got cars out on the track already. We're able to identify By the way, my name is One Shoe 50, and joining me this evening is Muttley. Muttley,
Hey, mate.
Say hello to the folks out there in television land. So, what we're going to see here is stock cars, which these cars are anything but stock. The name is kind of a carryover from the late 40s when the NASCAR, as we know it now, came into existence. And this track, Daytona International Speedway, is certainly one of the hallmarks. It is, it's tagged as the world center of speed. But more importantly, it's fitting that the American football Super Bowl is today, because Daytona International Speedway, and particularly the Daytona 500, is more than once been referred to as the Super Bowl of motorsports. I can say from, and Muttley can probably chime in here, I would know that this racetrack has probably broken more hearts than care to imagine. The challenge in this case is that the cars lack a lot of, they lack a lot of grip. They lack a lot of, they lack a lot of brakes.
They don't have any.
Yeah, they lack a lot of aerodynamics.
That's something I didn't think about.
Yeah, so if you were to take a shoebox, take an empty shoebox, and try to push an empty shoebox through a pile of mud, that might give you some of the sense and the feeling associated with what we're seeing here. Quick look on the leaderboard. We see that we've already got Green Gaming down on low 46s. We just came out of a practice session, and we did see one of the cars actually get into the high 45s, and I suspect as the qualifying session goes on here, we'll likely see some more of that.
Well, Brian, I'm quickly now. He's out on his own, so.
Yeah, these cars actually work best when you get a couple of them together. You have one up front who's kind of breaking the wake of the air, and then the second car behind that, even though for any of you that have ever heard of the phrase of bump drafting, where the cars would actually go bumper to bumper, and the little bump as you're driving along there, these cars actually function a little better if there's some space between the two cars. So here's a great example. What we're seeing right now is we've got the Dragon. And is that TC Thrasher directly in front of him?
I think it might be, yeah.
And notice there's just a touch of space between the two, and that air bubble between the two allows these two cars to cut through the air faster than what they could before. And then now we got three in a line here.
Do what they do.
Down into the tri-oval. So the track itself, while being identified as an oval, has kind of this weird configuration, extremely high banks, turns 1 and 2, long back stretch, and then when you get back into the front stretch, there's a kink in the middle, and they refer to it as a tri-oval.
Yeah, and poor bloke's down the inside of the line. He's pulled in behind him, but why Dragon was just sitting on the top of him at that stage. He was just dragging air off the other two and making them slower.
Yeah, so not only, good point, Natalie, so not even having the challenge of trying to take this shoebox and push it through the air. The driver behind gets to cheat because their car doesn't have to cut through the air. And now as the air starts to move around, you start to get air on the side, and as you start to push that bubble of air down onto the car next to you, it makes that car slow down. So the side drafting, as well as the 2 or 3 cars together drafting, also makes for some extremely close racing. And we'll likely see some cars do some really weird things, jump out from underneath an individual as they're trying their best to maintain control. For example, these 3 that we're looking at here, and these cars are just going along, and those drivers are not moving those wheels back and forth to make the car do that. That's the air moving around those cars and pushing those cars from one side to the other. Yeah. And they're purely responding to it.
Yeah, the hardest position out of this group is the piggy in the middle.
Right. 0 air on the car. So there's exactly. No air on the front of the car directly behind him. Zero on the back, and you just catch it when you can. So the Dragon here in 55, he's getting a good drag off of it, as you will, because his car doesn't have to push through the air.
Yeah, for me, I'd be making a little bit, maybe 1 more car length back, and then just get a run on them. And that's the way you can set a fast time. If you're doing what he's doing here, you're doing a pass, but you're not racing, you know what I mean? And you're just going to do that. And then it's a whole lap wasted.
Exactly. All of that work and effort, try to move out to make that, to make it work, and the next thing you know, you've pancaked the right-hand side of the car. It's smashed into the wall.
All the air from the other cars is pushing against you, is pushing you up into the wall. Where if you actually release the accelerator, dropped a car length back, and then floored it, it gives you that run. So you got a nice drag coming in behind you, and you'll still catch those guys. But that whole lap, if you plan it on the start-finish line, will probably end you up where Brian and Carlin and Daz are. So Brian put the 45 down, and go on to them.
And that's even a 10th faster than what we saw O'Brien run in practice just recently.
Yeah. You guys, the Flux Motorsports TV, as this American tour starts up, you'll get used to these names. Me and One Shoe were saying, Cat Guy, Carlin, O'Brien have been running the series for so long. We've got stats up the yin yang, and they're just quick, and they can run these cars all day.
We're on board right now, actually, with Carlin Hicks, number 4 Cash Now Ford, and Carlin is a big proponent of racecraft, as he refers to it, and he'll tell you many times over, he likely won't be the fastest guy out there, but what he lacks in qualifying, he more than makes up for over the entire length of the race. And there's our buddy Daz. We can tell that's Daz because remember what you said? Yeah.
And Daytona.
Oh, and there we go. And that's how quick it happens. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Cat guy to the outside wall. Bounced off Carlin Hicks, winds up being a, wrong place, wrong time.
That's so lucky for Carlin, because if he were in the pit lane that fast, he would have got DQ'd from qualifying.
Right.
Yeah. And if you do that in a race and you end up backwards, like I did the other day, racing with my mate, better player in their gang, you end up disqualified because you ended up in pit lane backwards. And
Yes.
the exactly same thing happened to me, like 500, not even 500 metres earlier. Guy punted the wall. I punted him, got sent into the wall on the inside, which spun me towards the pit lane. I had choice of hitting the pit lane wall head on or trying to spin it a bit, and I just spun it. And yeah, it's basically backwards into pit lane because it hit the wall,
Right.
pit lane wall. So it's yeah, I didn't that angle. Carlin, because he was a bit further up, had the opportunity of picking the grass. Where when I had the same thing happen to me, I had pit wall or really, going back onto the track, which I didn't really want to do. So I chose basically to aim for the pit wall a bit to save me going back onto the track, because when you're racing, well, my kind of racing etiquette is you don't want to go racing back onto the track at full speed and then cause absolute carnage unless you've been complete, so and so.
Well, it looks like we've got about 6 minutes left in qualifying, and Carlin's he's parked it in a couple of ways. He's parked it right now on the pole, and he's also got it parked in the pits because of the damage that he's got. Oh, it looks like he's repaired it at least enough to get back out. And this is so this is what I'm talking about with racecraft. Even though Carlin's car is damaged and he's repaired it, he wants to go out and be able to see what is the car still going to be able to do after it's had this type of damage. You see Green Gaming out here, and Green Gaming has, is that Jiggly directly behind him or off to the side?
No, I don't think this is Gigolo. Yeah, Green Gaming. Maybe it was my name Jeff. He's just pulled out. Yeah, I reckon it was my name Jeff. Getting a nice tow off of Green Gaming, and then says, "Thank you very much. I'm going into pit lane." 5 minutes ago, you're on your own.
So long, see ya,
buddy.
Let me know how that works out for you out there, trying to take this shoebox through the mud.
Yeah, and as me and One Tree will enlighten you folks later, that's all great, getting your fast time up there and being tailing somebody, but when you need a buddy going through the pit lane and come out the other side and you have nobody, you're on your own, you'll soon find out you probably needed that buddy to help you catch up to Carlin and Cacti or O'Brien, who are working together to get fast lap times down until the last lap, and then they'll fight it out. So a lot of little things at the moment that haven't occurred to these guys that haven't run those cars before on an oval, that light will shine.
and I can tell you also too that if you're out here by yourself and nobody to help with, this track, it's 2.5 miles, but it seems like it's 250 miles when you're out there running by yourself. This is the Flux Motorsport North American time zone. Over the course of this week, we've seen GTE, Indy cars, and now we're finishing up here with the stock cars. Within Flux, we're talking a total of 7 different championships this season. And I see that we've got a couple people here that are watching us on YouTube, and if you would please, I see the Dragons chiming in there. See the console is watching us. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch this. We know too, we've got certainly we've got a couple of the old SCL and ISRL vets here that have a lot of miles here. The challenge that I would like to see is now that it's always interesting when we have new drivers that come into the league and be able to see how they adapt, because a good driver will have an opportunity to adapt to a new situation maybe more rapidly than somebody, these stock cars are definitely a handful to drive.
Oh yeah. Yes. DMC's car looks a bit battered and worn.
Yeah, the Rexnor Sporting Goods Ford looks as though. Do you think he's getting any additional downforce with that? I don't know if that's illegal or not. The way that
front
hood's
body
all
being bent.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now's where you
I'd
need
say
help.
he's banged it during a fast lap and come back to pits, and it's just the way it's centered out. So even though we're seeing it on screen, I don't know that he's actually getting that effect on his actual car. I don't know if he, for actual fact, he come back out with a bent car. Because I mean, in the Indy cars, my car felt better than it was, but the thing was, I was so a bit used to it driving it a little bit bent, which is hard to readjust back to. Oh yeah, I've got a fresh car, so yeah.
Right.
I think you just got to relearn that the car's good here and good there, and then be patient with it. Where I wasn't being patient with it in a couple of spots, and that's where I lost the wings. I sort of spun it or clipped the corner where I wasn't really, pushing it that hard, and so it's the red-eyed monster in everybody. I think you're racing, you want to go faster.
Right.
You're behind somebody, and they're third, you're fifth, but you're faster than them. What do? You sit there and wait for them to make a mistake and you get past them, or you try to do a clean, positive pass to get in front of them so you can catch fourth. But realistically, I think I was out of the catching phase or catching fire and fourth spot.
Well, with as we're coming down here to the end of qualifying,
15. I don't think there's anybody out here who's going to get him.
Nobody. Carlin set up.
He's on his own.
So here again,
yeah.
I said to there, I got to take it back. Hopefully Carlin didn't hear me. I have to apologize to him because I said, he may never wind up being the fastest guy. But so now he's completed the first portion. So there's a point for Carlin Hicks to start off the race. He's got a point for sitting on the pole. Even though his Cash Now Ford is looking a little worse for wear.
O'Brien will be the last one that comes through.
That guy. My name is Jeff. From Gaming, Jiggly Jew, CMC, the Dragon, Old Smoky.
Yeah,
so
Cat Guy.
O'Brien.
And
then TC Thrasher. Yep.
One group spot, maybe that's why he didn't worry about it. We got a penalty going speeding in pit lane, I would say.
Well, or maybe he decided that he would prefer to start on the outside pole instead of the inside pole. With Carlin Hicks, it's all about the racecraft. Okay, qualifying session is now over.
Yeah, we'll see how Thrasher goes if he actually clicks into the race. It'll be interesting.
Correct.
But let's see. I'll do a $2 on O'Brien getting up towards the front if he doesn't disco.
Yep. We'll see him.
$2 bet from Australia on the side.
Yeah, I think that's a great comment from the console. I can say that you want to make the track as small as possible, so the inside line is where you'll stay. We'll see that towards the end of the race. But on the beginning, if you can get a big run on the outside, it really gives you an opportunity to gain a lot of momentum, and by the time you get to the backstretch, that's where we would see a lot of position changes actually occurring. Okay, we're going to
Yeah,
go ahead
well,
and move them into the
yeah,
2-minute room.
Yeah, and then okay, Brian, because he did that. Yes. So click on him and take that. Oh, this is going to be interesting.
Yes. Yeah, because we're normally in the past we would certainly expect to see the group come through here as a rolling start, so they'll have the quick
It will when
lead
they
off.
ready up. So all these cars will jump in front of us in the set. So as soon as every single car in front of us readies up at the same time, the graphics will jump us to the start, sort of thing. You know what I mean? It's not a big lag jump, but the cars will basically spawn from this point on to start the race. And like we were saying yesterday to the guys in the Indy cars, be ready. You know, hands on wheels, feet near pedals, just in case there's something glitchy goes on and you have to control the car from spearing the guy in front of you, because I was going to give you a 10-second to 5-second penalty. So always be ready and prepared. I think most people think, you know, rolling start's going to start me down by the start-finish line, but that's not always the case. It will let you go at a point from here to the start-finish line. You've got to control your car at 75 until that light goes green, and a lot of people have got to understand that.
And oh, by the way, if you're joining us here on YouTube and you'd like a little more information about Flux Motorsport,
Flux Motorsports!
Flux Motorsport, www.fluxmotorsport.com. Also on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, schedules, results, rosters. Sign up on the Discord and come be part of it. And then one day we'll be talking about you here at Daytona International Speedway.
Dad threaded the needle.
Took the middle line down through there.
Yeah, threaded it very well, but he scraped the wall there while following O'Brien at the rear.
Yeah, let's see what happens when he shakes out. Because by the time they get down here into the entrance of turn 3, the cars are going to be pretty close to their. Finally got the cars up to speed. And now it's all about everything that you're feeling that this car is doing that you don't want this car to do. And I like the fact that we're seeing we got a gap. Is that cat guy up there on the outside?
That's cat guy on the inside, and I say that's Dad's on the outside in the red. Maybe. Is that my name Jeff? Maybe. Go up front. Yeah, my name Jeff. On the outside. Change to outside. Oh, 3. That's going to be nasty.
3 wide into 3. You know, it's tough enough to get 2 cars through there, and now here they go. This is what you came to see right here. Incident. Cars turning around. Looks like we've got some serious damage, and I can guarantee you that there was no malice between those 2 drivers. When they make that transition off of turn 4, going to enter into, you've got not only the downhill side, the cars are a little bit unhappy. They are, they've got the wind going around, and all it takes is one small slip, and the next thing you know, you got your front end of your car stuck into the wall. And another broken heart at Daytona.
Yeah, and the poor guy in the middle doesn't have a lot of control on his car, because in that situation, like the situation we said before, when it's 3 in a row, 3 across the track works the same way. The guy in the middle's sort of bouncing off the flux of the air between the 2 cars, so
yeah,
he sort of needs a bit of a windbreak in that sense to get the car a bit steady. So yeah, one my skewful little tweak on your wheel, you're suddenly going stage left.
And the poor guy in the middle, he has nowhere to go. First off, he put himself in the sucker hole to begin with. And then now he's got to contend with the cars on each side that are bouncing around. And they have no opportunity.
Dragon's heading into the pits.
Looks like the Dragon is headed in there to go in to do a repair.
Old Smoke is being left high and dry because of what happened. And the rest of them, the top 8, will run it out and see how they go.
And wouldn't you know it, the guy that won last night in the Indy cars at Long Beach got on a plane first thing this morning to across the coast. Now he's in a Cup car, and the one-armed bullet
Bandit.
The one-armed bandit. Okay, that's what we're going to call him, Cat Guy. Up here at the front. Of course, you know, there's two schools of thought here. Be out front in the clean air, be away from the drama, or be just back far enough so when things go horribly wrong, you have that opportunity to get out of the way.
Well, that's Carlin at the moment. That's my pretty good spot to pick. I'm happy sitting there, let the action happen. Sort of got just enough room to go grab it high if you needed to get out of the way. And then, I'm still happy sitting there.
And here's the real challenge. We can see my name is Jeff. He's hanging up there on the outside, and it's so tempting to run that high line, but to be effective in that high line, you need help. And oh no, exiting the tri-oval in my old car, in the number 50 Zippinall Ford TC Thrasher. Car turned violently, looked like it got loose, maybe got too close to the apron. The next thing you know, now we've got another car that's already damaged here in the very early stages of this race. And here's the challenge too. Jeff can run just a little faster on that high line because he doesn't have to pinch the car off to make the turn, but he doesn't have the help that he needs to be able to run that high line. There's nobody that will get up there and help him because they know the bottom line, hugging that double yellow line. It's a short way around the track. And look at all the help. Look at all the help the Cat Guy's got. Cat Guy, O'Brien, Carlin.
I'd be going, come on, please.
Yeah,
help.
somebody jump up there. Somebody jump up there and give my name is Jeff a hand.
Well, say if I'm CMC argument and I had a good run coming on the back of these guys like this seems to be, I might outside if I knew my car could stick to the high line without too much washing up the walls and go give him a hand. Suddenly he's suddenly third and fourth. Even now, that extra couple of positions, but he's on the pack, he's not.
Here we go. Here we go. Is
that
CMC? CMC in the back there jumped out.
Yeah, it's jumped out.
But he's a little far back. I don't know if he can get a whiff. Yeah, look at the big run.
If he hugs the car, he'll get a big run now.
He got such a big run coming off of 2, closed the gap. So he's getting into my name is Jeff's.
It's gone back. Yeah, catch the wall.
He must have. I didn't see him entering into 3, but that's likely. It's so appealing. You think in your heart, I can go up there and run. Because you know if you're staying in that line, unless you're happy with running second or third, you've got to figure out when you're going to make it. And this is a good time. This is a good time to figure out, first off, can you get up there? Who's going to go up there with you? Right.
And the other really scary thing about doing that sometimes is you don't know what the car's like until you go out there, unless you've done a fair bit of practice with rooms beforehand, and then you got to slide down the inside like taking the mirrors off the car.
All right, now we're going to see what's happened. We got Green Gaming jumped up there. He's got up there, and notice, look what Carlin's doing. He saw what was happening, and he's just breathed the throttle a little bit, just enough.
Green Gaming, Green Gaming in,
Now we saw Green Gaming there for a moment. He got a couple of wheels below the red line, but between the double yellow line, but he did not improve his position. Those double yellow lines, that's the track limits, or the out of bounds, if you will. And if you get below that line and you improve your position, you must give the position back. Yeah, sorry you lost your connection there. It's been a good one. We would have loved to seen you there, because we know that we would have seen you running up front there. I've had to follow Daz many times at this racetrack, much like Muttley. I've had to follow Muttley many times. I've probably pushed more people to good positions on this track than I've ever gotten on this track.
Well, like you said earlier, it's to pairing up with people pretty quickly, and you got to say, well, I'm on the same fuel plan as he is, and just run with you. It wasn't really who was in what team, but it just happened to be that we're on the same sort of places at that time. Well, Carlin went below the yellows there.
Yeah, and it looks like that was an homage to our buddy Twindy. Twindy loved to knock the cones out, and Carlin was never too happy doing that. So again, it's likely that in that moment, for whatever reason, the air where he got the car positioned at, and the car just for a moment got a little bit away from him. But he didn't wind up getting stuffed in the wall. So good for Carlin, and here he is coming back too. I'm going to be really curious to see when they go in for their pit stops. Oh my!
I'm gonna go around.
Oh my! These two guys, they're leaning on each other. You'd think it was the last lap of the race, not lap 15. But you know, by this point too, I'm sure that there's been enough tire wear. The cars have actually started to burn off some of the fuel, and so you take a car that doesn't handle very well to begin with, and it gets unhappier the more the tires get worn off and the lighter the fuel load gets.
What are the weight of these things? About 2.5 ton, aren't they?
They are 3,400 pounds on a good day. So
about a brick that's moving at
close to 2. Yeah, we're close. Down the backstretch, we would expect to see speeds approaching 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, no downforce, hardly any tire.
Yeah. Yeah, they've already worn the good off of the good years.
Yeah.
They're sliding the car through the corners.
We're crazy in Australia for running V8s. This is absolutely mad.
But at least those cars have like good tires.
There's so much adjustabilities in those cars that these things don't have. And I've had my day at the tracks at Adelaide 500, which is no longer, but I did see Ambrose wheel one of these things around Adelaide, and It was just out of the world. The thing was so freaking loud, it wasn't funny. But you guys don't run mufflers where the supercars do, and
one of the first NASCAR races I got to go to was in Phoenix, and the guy before I went, he told me, he says, you know, they run without mufflers, and I just had to kind of give him this dumb look, and I says, don't most race cars run without mufflers? Of course, that's quite a bit different. Oh, thought we had somebody that was going to dive in for a pit stop there.
Yeah, he wouldn't stop.
Yeah,
There's
right.
no way.
He was, you know, 500 miles an hour down through pit lane. I'm sure there would have been a penalty associated with that.
I think you can add this thing up to 100% brake pressure, and you still would have stopped it in that time frame. It's like driving a Mack truck with no brakes. It just doesn't.
You step on the brakes and the car goes what?
You need a boat anchor out the back of it just to hitch it onto something, and then it might think about stopping.
Yeah, we're starting to actually see the lap speeds start to slow down a little bit, so we're seeing all the results of everything from the tire wear, how much more evil the cars are starting to handle, and boy, see, coming off the tube, you get the air coming off of that wall. You get that big cushion of air coming off of the wall. It literally just like somebody reached out with their hand and pushed that car from the top lane to the bottom lane. The best thing you can do is hold on. Green Gaming, nice job there. Did not collect himself, didn't collect anybody. There was thankfully a space for him to come into. Cat Guy and O'Brien actually starting to look like they were gapping a little bit, and now we see Cat Guy using a little bit of the, to where now he's actually starting to use some of this side draft. So as he's coming off of the corner, he's moving up just a touch, and it's taking that wall of air, and it's pushing out there to my name is Jeff, and as he hits that wall of air, it's actually slowing the car down because it's putting more of that load on it. And it looks as though Jeff is, there we had, things got really exciting there for just a moment.
That's close, and that's another
one.
one.
And if you know if that's going to happen, you really don't want it to happen at the front of the field.
No, well, two cars, and depends which way they spin, spinning in front of the back. Previously, they don't have enough brakes to stop them, so you're basically accelerating, but you're still looking for the hole.
And here we go. We're starting to see the cars peel off. They're coming in. Now, I'm going to guess this had to be as much by design as anything. 22 laps in. And while as important it is to come in, get some tires, be able to get some fuel, you've got to have help. You've got to have somebody to go out there, and this is that whole piece of the racecraft. If you try to go in and do this on your own, if you think you were bored running around this track by yourself before, you better make sure you got plenty of snacks with you, because you'll be even. It'll take you even longer to get around.
Yeah, if my name Jack and Green Gaming had any brains, to get together and say, well, I'm going in now, and try to get together and do that, because.
And that would have been interesting to know too, what kind of fuel load did, Cat Guy, Carlin, and O'Brien take on in this case. I'm sure they've got it calculated out. Boy, a lot of gap between all the cars right now.
Yeah, but who came out front? Brian, Cat, Carlin. I don't think that's too much of a problem at the moment because I'm planning on these Myth and Green Gaming to come back to them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even though those guys are in front, my name Jeff, Green Gaming, and Old Smoky haven't pit stopped yet. So for me, the longer they're out there, the more time they're losing because any of these guys get together and start pushing each other, the faster they'll get.
It's not like the tires are getting better.
And knocking the pit stop time availability down and making it a very short stop for the guys that are in front. But that's what they plan for. It might work, but at the moment, your money goes back onto Cat Guy pretty quick.
Yeah, it's without a doubt. It's without a doubt.
So he's come out pretty well. Brian's.
You got some big gaps between. Now, so yeah, my name Jeff and Green Gaming, they'd have that opportunity to go, look, the two of us would work together, but who knows? Who knows if they've had any discussions, if they're on the same strategy. It'd be really interesting to know what tire wear wound up being in this instance. I know when we did some testing beforehand that most usually a lot of times that on this track tire wear isn't a big challenge, but now with the settings that we run here under the Flux Motorsport logo.
Yeah, advanced tire wear.
Yes.
Carlin's. Right behind him, so he might start going faster and start pushing up.
You know, the other thing that's been really consistent here too is that this being the first week with the Flux Motorsport season 1 here, getting into that rhythm, the 20-minute qualifying time, the 40-minute race, 45-minute race time, throwing up those extra incentives, the incentives for sitting on the pole, the incentive for the fastest lap, to be able to add on to those points for finishing positions. And many times in a season-long championship, it's the little points that will add up over a period of time that will definitely make the difference at the end of any race series.
Oh yeah, especially if it gets close up the top and you've got the extra point.
Right.
Go back up the front. Green Gaming and my name's Jeff's joined up together, which is pretty smart.
Still haven't made their pit stop. They wouldn't try to go the whole way. Well, the car wouldn't go the whole way. The car would run out of fuel before they get to the end.
Yeah, I was talking to Daz about that before. I said it'd be interesting to see that. You know what I mean? If it would do a whole run.
Practice session that we had right before qualifying, coincidentally, was a 45-minute practice session. So if you had individuals that were taking notes, either looking at their per lap fuel usage, or if they did get an opportunity to run the entire 45 minutes, could have added that into their strategy. And
I'd say Carlin would have. And
yes.
Definitely Cat Guy, because that's what's happening here by the looks of it. Carlin's right on top of Cat. Yeah.
And look what we got here. Here's Cat Guy and Carlin.
Jello.
And Jiggly. So now you got the three. Notice they're running a good space, maintaining, and they're just they're making time at this point. They likely know that my name is Jeff and Green Gaming have not pitted. So all they have to do is maintain, stay in line, and they're going to catch him.
Well, as we old racers, well, not saying old, but in age stages, but olders, we've done this a few times. Thing is, these guys are fighting up the front. Good racers, trying to put a lap on O'Brien by the looks of it. Well, any mistake that my name Jeff or Green Gaming has in the pits, if they go into the pits, is time that they won't be able to get back on Carlin and them as they're going around the track. It's just lost time. So I'm interested as one two is see how this is going to play out. But while they're doing this, they're dragging time off themselves, and O'Brien, Cat Guy, Carlin, and Jiggly are catching them.
Muttley, that is such a great point. You've highlighted why two cars running on the outside all that's doing. They're fighting in this case, where if they really wanted to be effective and gapping, keeping those guys from catching them, is they shouldn't be fighting like this. There's 20 minutes left in the race.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know what the racer in my name Jeff seems to be doing is I'm on the lead car, I want to get past you, and so is Green Gaming, but they haven't worked with the guys like O'Brien, Carlins, and Cat Guy that will hang on the bottom, and you got to basically get a shoehorn to move them out.
little side draft going on, yeah, right. O'Brien and it was very subtle. Yeah. He moved up just a little bit, and that dumped that air.
Yeah.
Oh, and there we go.
Yeah.
Green Gaming.
He had a big wobble. Yeah.
Yep. He got up there, scrubbed off a little bit. I don't think he's out of the draft, but he's back far enough right now, and he's trying to figure out why his car won't go any faster when he's got his right foot all the way to the floor.
He'll go back into line, yeah. I think Green Gaming is extremely lucky in that one because my name Jeff dropped back. And I think that's because he can see that if he has a map on his screen of how fast Cat Guy and Carlin and them were catching them,
yes.
He might have that kind of thing counting down. Even though that, to me, he's thinking, oh, I'm a lap ahead, I don't have to worry about these guys, but if they have to go into the pits, it all plays in. The pit stop is a killer because you've got to slow this thing down so much to get into pit lane, and let alone stepping on it very, very, very gently, getting out of pit lane.
Yes. Yeah. Don't lock up the brakes. Don't drive through your pits.
The brakes will lock up, but
well, but now too, you're on a light fuel load, so now you go in to stop, you hit the brakes, and you lock up the rear brakes. And then you're sliding through the pits.
They don't say I'm going in, and say my name Jeff steps out of the draft into going O'Brien, and thinks he's going to pull this thing up before pit lane, and he hasn't done it before. He's going to find out pit lane comes up pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah. You make that transition. Yeah. You make that transition off, and you go to step on the brakes, and you can downshift all the way to first gear. And the only thing it does,
nuts off this thing, and it still won't stop.
Exactly. It just turns the tachometer red, and the car gets even unhappier.
Well, what then happens is also you're pressing pretty hard on the brakes, going, come on, stop, and then you do sometimes lock it up, and you're on the cement, and she just goes around.
Yeah.
It's the other thing that non-NASCAR drivers do have to get used to is the transition from the asphalt on the outside of the stuff to the concrete on the inside.
So Jeff got a really good run off of 2 there.
Yeah,
Had Green
yeah, he
Gaming
did.
jump up there with him. So he made an excellent run. He got as close as he felt comfortable to with O'Brien, but he couldn't make it. He couldn't make it, and it's because, and notice Green Gaming can't figure out who to go with. He's indecisive, and as a result of that, that's again now this pack of 3. They're just
still
letting
fighting.
they're just letting these other guys very slowly starting
Carlin's
to reel
got
them
in
in.
front of the group here. He's basically said, I've got a faster car. I'll push and you guys push me.
You know, and I was kind of wondering about that, knowing the Cat guy is injured and he's driving essentially with one arm. And then after Long Beach last night, and now
yeah, he'd be so like,
yeah.
So after today, it won't be funny.
And I know people watching this might look to say, well, all you got to do is stick your right foot to the floor and just kind of like wheel it around. But depending on, again, are you on a controller? Are you on a wheel? What are your force feedback settings, your speed sensitivity settings? All of those that can, you know, give you either a greater challenge when trying to steer, and Cat Guy puts a lot of time and effort into be able to make those settings to make that car handle. And it looks like we're going to have a switch here.
Yeah, it looks like Carlin worked out Cat Guy's faster.
Yeah,
I reckon. Yeah, I reckon they did a run to work out who's faster in front.
so it looks like they did about 5 minutes in that configuration.
Yeah, they've worked out that Cat's faster to catch them. I know Carlin, if he could see the pack in front of him, and he knows O'Brien as well as he knows him, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So those guys are catching them hands. I mean, they're in the same straight almost, but they can't catching them hand over fist. The only thing they've got against them at the moment is they're a lap down.
Right.
Which is not a lot.
You see that
that's a pit stop, you know, and,
right.
And basically, I put these 2 guys behind those guys. That's just the way I see it.
Here we see old Smokey coming out of the pits.
Mm-hmm.
And
by himself,
unfortunately, by himself, right between the 2 groups.
Yeah, he's been fortunate there. I reckon if he can climb onto the second, you know, get up to speed, which
I think he's.
like
I think
no, gone down to the bottom. So we'll go back to. Let's see. Get onto him.
Yeah, because old Smokey,
he should have played it a bit. Hanging on the bottom. I don't know if you get enough oomph from the draft down there. You know what I mean? I haven't done it myself down that way. I normally hang high and then drop down as soon as they. Well, like I'm basically scraping Gigaloo's mirror, so I go, yeah, I want the draft. Give me.
Actually, I think he played that very well. Here he is. He's caught up with the group. Yep. Nice job.
He's on the same laps as they are, aren't they? Yeah. So it's pretty good.
And you know, it's very likely that somebody might have actually either suggested that to him. You know, it's one of the great things that I love about being part of Flux Motorsport is the fact that how much sharing goes on here. It is so much about seeing drivers improve. It's as much about the competition as anything. But I can say that, you know, in the short time that I've been involved with it, we see so much of that help occurring. And it's a great carryover because we see O'Brien, we see Carlin, we see Cat Guy. I think about my years as a, you know, as a driver, how much help all of these co-drivers have
So
given.
my name Jeff and Green Gaming and O'Brien must have had a bit of a bingle there, because
A bit of a dust up.
that guy's gone. Yeah, must have. Yeah. Green Gaming is still with O'Brien by the looks of it, but the other guys, they're going to catch him. But to be honest with you, the one that was pushing it 10 tenths all the way through was my name Jeff. Nothing against him, but 43 laps in. It's got a comfortable car, but sometimes overdriving it hurts it too.
Right, right. So let's see if we can get in. Kind of
Get into his car. You want to?
Yeah, it'd be kind of be curious. Let's get in and see.
We'll go.
Let's see what kind of a challenge he's got here. Oh, look at these diamond.
Yes.
Boy, one truly is the semi-loneliness number. You're kind of hung off the dry there by yourself. Ever so slight. That guy coming up just a little bit, moving that air to the right side of his car, dumping it into, I think it's Jeff's car. Once again, it is just so tempting to run up high.
Got what, 47 laps worth of fuel on it?
2 minutes to go.
Yeah, they're going to do at least 48, 50 laps. So they've got to come in. There's no way. They're not going to run. Here goes Jeff.
You called it, Muttley. Amazing. Gets down 37 miles an hour on pit road. And he's looking down there. He's seeing his pit crew running out. Tires at the ready. Pulls into his pits. And it looks as though in this case it's fuel only.
Oh.
Fuel only. For My Name is Jeff. Let's see. I'm kind of curious to be able to identify what is.
Oh, he's getting damaged. Yeah, he's getting damage fixed.
So he's likely. So now this is really going to extend his pit stop.
Here comes Cat Guy now. And in. Yeah. Got it. Done. Green Gaming's in. Just come in.
Yeah, let's see what we got here too. Looks like fuel only also. And there's likely some damage repair going on.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yep.
Yeah, there goes My Name Jeff.
Yep. So here we go. The two guys that ran out front and were on a different strategy. And on this track, there's nothing wrong with trying a different strategy from what everybody else does. You know, if you're out there just playing follow the leader, it's very difficult at times to make anything different happen. So you change it up. We saw what the veterans did. We saw a secondary strategy here. And now we're going to see how. Yeah.
Goodbye.
Cat guy. And Old Smokey really made that work out for him. He's been able to hang on to the back end of this pack. It just goes to show you, just when you think all is lost, three friends that you didn't know have line up out there. And Jiggly.
Jiggly's fourth for this, so where's he end up? Oh, yeah. I don't know if he's not in the draft, is he? He's just on his own, not
Yeah.
close enough to, yeah.
And you know,
So,
he's got that group of 4 coming behind him.
yeah. What's 4 seconds ahead? I don't think it's enough.
Yeah, especially when you don't have any help. Even if O'Brien can manage to catch up, and not
Gets
sure.
on to my name Jeff. He's pretty close.
Yeah.
He might actually be getting the draft here, so he might actually hang on to it.
But there again, too, once he gets up there, is
Well,
Jeff going to try to? Is Jeff going to try to hold him back there, or would Jeff go, all right, Brian, get out front. I know you got the faster car. Let's hook up and try to work together to get away from these guys.
Well, if I was O'Brien, I'd be pushing him.
Yeah.
Sorry. Just come on, you're in front, dude. Let's go.
Don't look back. I'm right behind you.
Yeah, I wherever you're going, I'm going with you, sort of attitude.
Right, right. I see Pogo's joined us here. I agree, Pogo. That double yellow line is your friend. The one and only race I ever won here, won it in an Indy car. And I'm going to tell you, once you get out front, you get on the bottom line, you stay there. And that means that if you're going to beat me, you got to get around the outside. And O'Brien definitely has now got up to Jeff. Does it look like he's going to try to get around him, or is he going to try to?
He's sitting in the draft at the moment. I think he's playing. See what happens if they stay in the draft together, because they're holding 4, almost 5 seconds on the group behind, and they've got a 4 freight train car behind them, so it's hard to tell. It depends what O'Brien and my name Jeff do together. It really does. If my name and Jeff and O'Brien start trying to side draft with me with 4 minutes to go.
Yeah,
it will be interesting. Yeah.
And at this point, O'Brien doesn't have to do anything other than ride. He's got a decent gap at this point. Oh, of course, as soon as I say that,
he sticks his nose out and goes, should I have a look?
I'm going to stop talking about him now, because it's.
In this group, is the studders packed up and running to the finish line. You know what I mean? They have to be like they are.
Right.
To catch the front, O'Brien go, well, how come you got in and out of the pits faster than what we did? But he's done something sneaky on the fuels. I reckon he just did fuel and that's it.
Right. And what I'm also curious about too is what's going on here with Jiggly and Old Smoky. I mean, it seems like they're not really be able to. I think they're throwing the draft off here with Cat Guy and Carlin because they're not staying in line.
Yeah, but for you to go, you don't expect anybody to stop sticking with you. You know what I mean? They're going to try to look at the opportunity to get in front of you. You know what I mean? They've run the laps in line with each other for the last 50 odd laps, so it's time to start throwing the car in spots you weren't before, just to see if you can get in front of these guys. I mean, where O'Brien doesn't have to do that. He always sit here behind my name Jeff and do laps, because he's got a 5-second gap on the field.
And as they would say, we're not going to use this car next week, so all you got to do is bring me back the steering wheel. Whatever's left, we'll.
Would you say that behind my name's Jeff?
Well, look at it this way: your super speedway car will not work at Willow Springs.
No, true.
So you know, even though my name is Jeff, he's looking at opportunity. Certainly, everybody's going to be in the top 10. O'Brien, just an amazing, smart race. Was really kind of curious to see what was going to happen with Green Gaming and My Name is Jeff. They had been out there for a while, but they missed their opportunity when they were watching Cat Guy Carlin going in for that earlier pit stop. Missed that opportunity to be able to get back together.
They stayed out too long.
Right.
But the smart play would have been, all right, those guys have gone in, we're going in now. You know, within a lap or two, so they don't get as much capability of catching you, especially if they pack up into fours like we have here at the moment. And I think the best run of the money, and my money's doing really good at the moment, so Brian, ching ching, bring in them.
Right, and we kind of knew that.
And he had a really good pit stop because he came in the same time as Cat and all the rest of them, but he just had a quicker stop. So the other guys, through damage or whatever, had a slow stop, and we all been there and done that with Project Cars too. Some guys get a really good, quick stop, and it's just the way things are. I know that in spec racing, you don't talk about some stuff, but some damage actually can make your pit stop quicker in Project Cars too. So it's just the way it is.
O'Brien out front here at the
Flux watch him all the way to the finish.
North America, here we go. And let's see.
He's going for it.
Yeah. Does Jeff give him room?
He should do.
I would hope so. I would hate to see something horrifying happen.
It'd be a nail to the coffin if you took him out now.
Yeah. Great job. Great job, O'Brien. All right, let's see what's happening behind here. Oh. It looked like Cat Guy Jiggly. Carlin and Jiggly. Yeah, that looked really close there at the end.
Yeah, no, it looks.
He did.
Looks like Jiggly got him. Man. And looks like, according to. Oh, what happened there? Oh, okay.
Well, there you have it, folks. I'm going to tell you what. I think this was what an amazing way to finish up the first week. Your winner, O'Brien, in the number 66
got fastest lap as well. Yeah, he did.
Fastest lap.
45.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Carlin Hicks gets the extra point for pole. O'Brien. Yeah. Cat Guy, Jiggly Jello.
The fastest lap. Yeah.
Amazing Jiggly Jello. Great finish. Got on the podium.
Yeah.
Carlin Hicks, by all means, fourth. Probably elected to to save himself and finish fourth as opposed to piling a car up. CMC, Green Gaming. My name is Jeff. My name is Jeff and Green Gaming. Great effort. Got to see those two guys try their very best. Old Smoky, Dragon, gentlemen.
Hey, what happens with the points in here? Because I got DNFs, but then the other two below them, I got finishes. We'll have to throw the question up with that one. Do they still get those points, or does Old Smoky and Dragon?
Right.
But anyway, that's a question we'll have to ask the powers that be.
Well, Muttley, thank you so much.
That's all right, mate. Yeah.
Great day. This is One Shoe, Flux Motorsport, FluxMotorsport.com. Come join us. Come sign up. Come have fun out here. 7 championships this season. This is the end of week 1. Congratulations to all the drivers. and we'll see you next week.